I am Jim Holman, editor of the San Diego Reader newspaper, and I am interviewing Bill Manson, who has been at the Reader since 1990. Well, the first stories I could find were January or February '94.
94. That's what I
that right?
remember. Was,
now, see, I got a call from Judith in late '93 because I was overseas at the time,
yes.
and she had found you. So we'll talk a little bit about how Bill has come to the Reader. And I wasn't going to bring this up here, but I decided, after all, it's okay because Bill has another identity at the Reader.
Jim, I thought that we had a contract on that, but
well, no, I had a long talk with Matt about it, and I thought that it's not the same as it used to be. That is, the old model of restaurant reviewer was a secret, because in those days, when newspapers had more power and restaurants were more willing to do anything they could to please a restaurant reviewer, the identity of the restaurant reviewer was all important. The problem is with you, we hired you to do food.
Yes.
And so much of what you have done for us is food. So I'm not going to give your other name here, but I'm going to say that Bill has been responsible for a column called Tin Fork, and is otherwise, until this video, been secret about his identity.
I don't know. I just feel as if I've been,
outed,
paraded naked in front of.
Well, anyway, but so many of the good stories that you had to tell have to do with your restaurant review, and certainly how you came to the Reader. So I got a call in late '93 when I was out of the country saying that from our editor, Judith Moore at the time, she was staying in San Diego. She was staying in San Diego at an apartment we rented in Coronado for our visiting writers and editors. And she had met a fascinating couple from New Zealand. At least the man was from New Zealand and the wife was from Coronado.
Yes.
So can you tell a little bit about it, how it was from your point of view? Well, first of all, let's talk about where you're from. You were born in New Zealand.
No, I was born in England.
Born in England. Okay.
In Wimbledon.
I'll get the story straight someday.
And I was exported at the age of 3 to New Zealand.
Okay.
Might have been something I said at the movies, or it didn't stand for the Queen in time. It was something.
Well, see, the thing I thought was so ironic is that your dad fought in World War I at the Battle of Gallipoli. And I was thinking yesterday, I thought he was mad at Churchill because it was such a fiasco of a battle.
Yes.
That's why he left and went to New Zealand.
Yeah.
But I thought he got the New Zealanders involved.
The New Zealanders sort of showed him how to survive there. Because there was all this clifftop stuff, and they were all completely green out of school. And
the English were.
The English were, yeah.
I see. Okay.
And his pals, and they would. What made Dad change everything, sort of thing, was that all of the sort of Eton-educated officers were down below on the ship, so say, take that cliff over there. And the
Kiwis were up on top.
And the Kiwis were up on top, and they knew what they were doing, and they sort of taught Dad everything. And so after that, he was fanatical in New Zealand.
Wow! And so he and you and your mom, and I don't know who else there was. Were you the only child?
My brother Hugo.
Okay, moved to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And then you were there for all of your schooling, or did he kind of send you back to Europe to be an educated man?
Well, he did send us back. I got up to what was called Form 3. I was like 13 years old, high school beginning up.
Okay.
And went back to France. Oh, so the story there was that we went back to the family there, had a dinner, a sort of welcome dinner thing.
In England?
In England, yeah, in the south of England. And my great-aunt Maud, who was a bit of an old-school English military wife who'd been brought up in Singapore. She came over to Dad and sort of said, Cecil, I understand that you New Zealanders are rather fond of your sheep. and
Oh.
and he was, he thumped his fist down. He said, "We're leaving," and we did. We went off to France.
Oh,
and
that was
never came back.
that was an insult.
Yes, it was, because she was insinuating that they had
Sex with a sheep. Oh, okay. I got it. Oh my goodness. Well, that was an insult. So he went to France.
That was a significant moment in my life. Yeah.
Wow.
So then I went to school in France for best part of a year, and then again to French school in London when we finally ended up back in London.
Okay. So how much time were you in England before you went back, or did you go back to New Zealand?
Yes, we were there for about 7 months or so in London.
Okay.
And then went back to New Zealand because the school year was starting. This opposite school years and stuff. And so we went. I went to high school there, and then when I was 18, I went back to France because I had just got there in time, I think, in the first time around, to be able to pick language and so forth. And so I loved it and missed it, and went back and went to and did a year's course, which I could get credit for in New Zealand when I was doing my degree there.
I'm gonna try to fast forward the background here. Right. So how did you get to Southeast Asia, which is where we kind of, it was right before you came back to the U.S. and ended up with the Reader. So you had a life and a career of some sorts.
Yes, and then I was working in radio and television in New Zealand.
Okay.
Went to Southeast Asia because it was sort of happening at the time, as you well know.
Well,
and spent 2.5 years there altogether, based in Bangkok.
Okay, and there you met Lita.
There I met Lita, ruined her marriage, and from there we went. So there was 2.5 years around there. I loved
Southeast Asia,
despite all the problems there, and went to England with Lita.
Okay.
And from there, she had family problems here, so that's why we came here in 1995.